born an athlete, you'll die an athlete. It's in your DNA.
You're an athlete. Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.
You're an athlete. Live like it.
ANA, America needs athletes. Welcome, athletes, into another episode of the Gym Closet. I'm here, as always, with Amber and Zach. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Okay.
This is another excellent Tuesday. For those that are joining us for the first time, thank you for joining us. If you're joining us on audio, please rate, review, and subscribe. That will bump those numbers up for us. And then if you're watching us live on any of our Facebook, all Facebook, right? Yeah,
all
any
Facebook.
of our Facebook stuff, feel free to comment. We should have, this is what we should do. We should have a phone with the live up so that we can see comments too. We'll do that in the future. We'll figure that out.
But then we have to have like 3 phones up because it's like we're live on like.
Yeah. Yep.
All
All
right,
the phones.
we'll get it.
we got to get all the technology in here. If this is your first time joining us, the Gym Closet is a Krave Gym podcast. We talk about what it means to live like an athlete. We give tips and tricks on how to live like an athlete and why living like an athlete will ultimately make you a bigger success in your life, in all aspects of your life. So, without further ado, we'll get started today.
Because we're running a little
How was
late
everybody's
today.
weekend?
Good.
Good.
Went by fast.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. We went to Kansas City, so that was nice to get away from the kids for a couple days, and we had some business meetings, so that was a good little getaway.
Went to
But then
Raw.
we came back to the
ate
shit
sushi.
storm. Snow.
Yeah, it's we left on Friday, so we didn't see it. There was no snow when we left. We left early Friday morning, and then as we got back, it just gradually got worse and worse and worse as we got north up to Iowa. So I didn't think about it at all. But then we pull into our driveway and none of it's like scooped, obviously. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot, completely forgot. Haven't started the snowblower yet this year, so it was fun to get back on to that on Sunday. But
Yep,
got it all done.
Went to sushi. Went to IKEA. That was pretty. Have
Oh,
you been doing
boy.
IKEA? It's
I don't
solid.
think that I have been
I was
doing
like,
IKEA
what's
ever,
this
honestly.
hype about? What is this? Because we just look on, because the closest one I think is Minneapolis. And
Yeah, I
Kansas
think that
City.
sounds
So I
right,
didn't
yeah.
know what the hype is about. We usually go to Nebraska Furniture Mart if we need stuff. But that showroom was awesome. It was really cool.
I've heard it's pretty cool. I've never been there. My wife and my mom and sister, they all love it.
Yeah.
I've never been there though.
Yeah, it's super interesting. So for guys that I don't
Yeah.
know how much we like it. So when I went there one other time, but I went in, did a really fast lap because I didn't know how to. So
You and
basically,
Glenn, right?
yeah. So Glenn,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Glenn,
I ordered some things for
she
the
ordered
kids'
something. We had
playroom.
no
and I'm
idea
like,
how to
okay, you're going to
how
Kansas
any of it
City.
works.
You got to stop and pick these up, thinking that you just drive up like Menards. You just drive back
Yeah.
there, show them your receipt, and like they put it in the car. Didn't work.
No,
Doesn't
so-
work that way.
So they have like 3 different areas. They have one that is just showroom where you can't buy anything. Like you wheel around or
Well,
you
that's
walk
weird.
around. And the other thing, when you get into this maze that is a track, you can't get out of that track. You either have to double back.
Oh jeez.
But then there's
or-
arrows
or
that say
finish it
go
out.
that way, so you
Oh,
can't
no.
really go back that way.
Yeah, so I mean it's only it's your track the entire time. Then you go downstairs into the marketplace, which is smaller stuff that you can buy, and you actually can buy that. So you bring a cart, but it's the same thing. You go through a path, and they're not showroom, they just have a bunch of smaller stuff. Then you go to the warehouse section where it's more like a Menards where
Sure,
all these
yeah.
boxes are just
Okay.
stacked on giant pallets, and then you pull out the box of the stuff that you picked out earlier when you walk through the stuff.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused because I kept wanting in the showroom. I was like, "Where's our cart? Like, I want to put this in there." And Tyler's like, "You can't buy this stuff." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
Like,
You
I
kept
want
seeing
to buy this.
I can pick it up. I want to buy this one.
It has
right
a
here.
price tag on it. He's like, "No, there's a showroom."
Yeah,
We
take
go-
a picture.
I'm like, okay.
Take a picture, and this will tell you what you want.
But cool experience.
Yeah,
The
I've heard it's very
showroom's
confusing, but
yeah, the showroom's awesome because it just sets up like different kitchen areas and stuff, and so you can
Sure.
kind of see everything displayed.
Which
so.
makes it worse for
It's-
husbands
that
because
sounds probably right.
because
Uh-huh.
then not only dude, not only does she have an idea of what she wants, but then she has a new idea of new things that she wants because
and like
she
all
sees
of
them
it,
set.
like the whole thing, not just like the one individual
Right,
thing. Like you need the whole thing,
Exactly.
like, the
Like,
whole kitchen.
Well, I really just need this dish, but it looks so nice next to this sink and these countertops and this backsplash. And
That's
so,
what I'm going through
So then
too.
we just
Yeah,
have to do a whole
we're
new kitchen.
redoing our apartment right now to like a more mature like black and white and gray everything instead of because we had like orange chairs and like all that stuff. So since we got married, we've got a lot of new like furniture, new lamps and tables and all that stuff. So we're trying to make it like a nice like black and white and gray.
Yeah, like all black.
Yeah.
So do you
Everything
guys live in a townhome or a apartment?
We have an apartment, yeah.
So they're gonna let you paint and everything? They let
Oh
you do
no. Well, they would actually. They don't
Okay,
care if we
that's
paint, but we're
awesome.
not going to.
Right.
We're
Okay.
not gonna do- It's like a, I don't know.
Just upgrading
beige
furniture and stuff is
tan
it? Yeah.
thing, yeah. So
Yeah. That's
That's
awesome.
it's
always
pretty
fun.
neutral, yeah.
Yeah. No, IKEA is the bomb.
I had a post on Facebook today, speaking of decorating, a post this weekend that I was giving Amber props. So if anybody's seen any of the decorations, our house feels really, really like Christmas, which I love, but I would not do any of it. And so,
I love it. I think it's so fun.
oh yeah, it's awesome.
And there's nothing
I'm
wrong
glad
with Charlie Brown tree. I mean, it's all about what's inside, right?
No, like literally, I would have like a stick for a tree and
It's fine.
and the lamp from the Christmas story.
And you're still
would be the
happy,
only-
right?
Well, no, I wouldn't have been. I would
Oh, you
still
want
be
to get those
Scrooged
Christmas
out.
feels?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't get those Christmas feels. That's the problem. I would have been all Scroogey because I didn't have my decorations, but I still wouldn't decorate or know how to. So that's why props to you. I appreciate you making the house feel like a.
Hey, anytime.
Like a house.
Anytime you want to encourage me decorating, I will do it.
This time of year only.
No,
This
so
time
then
of year only.
IKEA was Saturday, and then we had some business on Friday, and then so Sunday morning we get up, get McDonald's, and then I
Puke all over the car.
Puked
Yeah.
all over the
Fun.
car. I was
Very
like,
fun.
Tyler, get a bag. I'm like, I thought this shit was over. Can't be on week number 23 and still puking in the car.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's just like, I just can't even imagine. I hate throwing up. I will try to hold it in. I held it in for like the longest 2 minutes of my life. You know when your mouth's watering?
Yeah.
And like your tongue starts to like just, I don't even know, tighten up. I was gonna tell him like this is the worst feeling, but I couldn't talk because if I talked, like it was just gonna, so I'm like, all right, just shut my mouth, close my eyes. And then all of a sudden I just felt it and I'm like, all right, I just gotta do this. So I picked up the bag that my burrito was still in.
Oh,
But I
no.
just
Oh,
can't
what?
even
You wasted
imagine.
your burrito?
Yeah, I
Oh,
wasted
no.
my freaking whole
Man.
breakfast. Damn it, $5 down the drain. And
Damn
then I
it.
couldn't
I
even
didn't
drink
know
my
that.
coffee. So then I just went to bed because I'm like, screw this. No, but
Your trip sucks.
but yeah, I just wonder what it's like to be on your side of just watching someone throw up. I just can't even imagine what that's like.
I was just like, "Where's the next exit?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
it started
Oh,
leaking
this
out of the bag. I'm like,
this
we
bag
can,
is not
Bag
gonna hold
gotta
that.
get
for
out of here, yeah.
and it was like, he goes, if it starts to leak, just throw it out the window. And I'm like, there's cars littering. Like, what do I do? It was, yeah.
Chuck it out the window
So,
more
I'm
than it, letting it leak all over the truck.
Yeah, so that was fun. But how was yours? That eventful?
Not that eventful, no. We didn't really do a whole lot, yeah, which was kind of nice.
That is nice weekends
Yeah.
like that. You didn't bake Christmas cookies or do anything?
No, we didn't do really.
Does Haley bake a lot?
Yeah, she does. She does
Yeah.
her fair share. Yeah, we got, like I said, for the wedding stuff, we've got a lot of, we got like a KitchenAid, and we got the KitchenAid
Nice.
is really the reason she even married me. Honestly, she only wanted
Wanted
the
that
KitchenAid.
so bad.
Oh my god, she wanted it so bad. But yeah, so we got a lot of stuff. So we're gonna try to do some baking, I think. And
Nice.
yeah, so
Put it to use, right?
I know,
Now it
she
looks
better,
good. Now
yeah.
you gotta use that thing. It's so funny because I've never really wanted one of those, but now I'm like, I
What
wonder
is
if I would bake more. It's like a big thing you have on the counter, and it's a bowl, and like
yeah,
kinda
it's like
stirs
a
everything for
it's
you.
a mixer.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's a fancy
but
yeah.
they're
mixer,
fancy.
though. It's
Like
very
they're
fancy.
super
Yeah.
cool and fancy.
My mom has one of those.
And you
Yeah.
can, there's like a bunch of
Yeah.
different attachments you can put on
It's
it.
like something
We
great.
don't
Like
have
you
one of
guys are
those?
gonna have that for no. I
Are
just
you
hand
sure?
whisk that shit real fast and then complain about
Did we
it.
ever get it?
Doing it. No,
I thought we got one for a wedding. I swear
We
got
don't,
one. No. Oh.
it's no.
This is like
But-
a fancy one.
And it's
a
something you
fancy
can have
mixer.
for a long time.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
they're
it's like
supposed to
one of
last
those
for like
things
a
that-
very,
yeah.
very long time. So
Yeah. But speaking of cookies, should we
Oh,
go right
yes.
into our
Yeah, let's go right
cravings?
into cravings.
Okay.
Good transition.
Oh,
yeah.
See, I'm getting better with. I'm getting
All right,
better
so our
at this whole
cravings, we
podcast.
had our cravings was favorite holiday dessert,
Desserts.
and
It was kind of fun on the way to Kansas City. I was like, "Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one," because I was worried that I wouldn't find like. So then
The-
Tyler had to put candy canes in there.
oh
the
yeah,
big debate. Well, that's okay. So
Signature,
that's the big
like-
debate. Like that's the signature like candy for Christmas. But then like, does anyone really like candy canes?
no, candy canes got stomped on my.
Right.
Like,
Like,
I think,
yeah,
I think
mine
it got
too.
like maybe one or two.
But
of
that's the
those.
thing, like- How genius of a company to be like, okay, well, let's grab these mints that no one really likes
Right.
and
Make them
into a different shape and
Right.
sell them
Right.
during the holidays. And that's like
Oh my
the
God, yeah.
staple that everyone has to
It
buy.
is.
Oh,
And now
yeah.
there's like different
Genius.
flavors, like the Sour Patch Kid
Mhm.
ones and
There's all sorts of
yeah.
every flavor you could think of. Yeah.
Yep.
So what was the
So-
final two?
Okay, so the final two were sugar cookies and the peanut butter blossoms, which I never call them peanut butter blossoms.
I call
I
them
don't-
like Hershey Kiss.
First,
I call them. Well,
Cookies.
okay. Here's a debate that we had actually at my in-laws. So there's like star cookies, right, with chocolate stars,
Right.
or there's like the peanut butter blossom with the Hershey Kiss on it, and
okay.
so
I like the stars.
I like the stars better.
because
Yeah,
they're flatter. You can get a
yeah,
better
you
bite.
can because like a Hershey Kiss will like stab the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah.
But
or you have to bite the side
like-
of the Hershey's Kiss and you don't get enough chocolate.
right, yeah. So really, like, the star cookie is
You haven't
like
analyzed
it this deep?
the
This
quintessential.
that wasn't an
cookie.
option, so we don't even talk about that, right?
I would say that that's the same.
Or
I would-
it's the
I
same.
would-
Oh, so
I would
it's
say
just
it's
the
the
topping.
same
Just,
thing.
you
It's
just
just-
put a
It's
star.
one piece of chocolate versus a
Yes,
different piece
okay.
of chocolate.
Right,
It's just a
yeah.
different shape. of
I would
chocolate.
say so. I would still personally prefer the peanut butter blossom.
Right.
Either
Over the sugar
way,
cookies.
either
So
way.
funny
But,
thing.
yeah.
So Tony, one of the athletes at Waukee this morning, he was like, "That's bullshit because that's the same base of the cookie. Like, so it was sugar cookie and peanut butter blossom." He goes, "It's just different toppings." And I was like,
Not a
"No."
chance in hell.
No.
No way.
Well, and then so a
They're
couple
complete,
things
sugar
there.
cookie
So,
and peanut butter cookie are.
yeah,
But he
there's
might
no
not
peanut
know.
butter in the sugar
But
cookie.
so yes, Tony. So it's the sugar cookie is the sugar cookie base, and then the peanut butter blossom has a peanut butter base. So they're not the same.
Right, but then let me ask you this too, Tony. Like, so like pizza, for example, like there's so many different toppings on pizza.
Huh?
Is
And-
that all the same?
Is it all the
It's all
same?
different.
Oh.
How about like a meat sauce on spaghetti versus
yeah.
like a white Alfredo sauce? Are
True.
those the same?
The pasta's the same. But
Are
the
those
sauce
pastas
is
the
same?
different.
We're going
Yeah.
way too.
It's
I mean-
just
It's
a
a
genuine
valid
question.
point. Yeah, we're gonna
If the
have to-
topping doesn't matter, then you wouldn't care if it's Alfredo or meat sauce
Right.
or
Yeah.
red sauce.
Right. I know.
Yeah,
All
Tony
right.
deserves this.
All right, Tony.
For
Deserves it.
questioning.
Tony, I don't know about that comment.
So
on
peanut
this.
butter blossom took him home. So
Big time, right?
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was up against like.
Yeah, as it should.
Yeah, it was good. I
It's
kind of
good,
said
yeah.
that. I'm like, I bet peanut butter blossom
Yeah.
wins the whole thing because those are just signature good cookies.
Yeah.
So as we were talking about desserts, we started getting into the tradition of cooking desserts and all that kind of stuff. And so for our next craving, we are going to be taking votes first. So we'll take a vote today or tomorrow. And let's see. So we're going to be doing your favorite holiday tradition / activity. So for example, it might be driving around with your family and looking at lights. It
Cooking
might
gingerbread houses.
baking, baking your Christmas desserts that we were just talking about. It might be making gingerbread houses and that activity. What other activities do you guys got?
Well, back in the day, people used to like string popcorn. Remember that? They
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, what happened to
Yeah.
that? It just kind of. I don't. Some people
Too many
probably
people
still do
poke
it.
themselves with
Oh,
a needle.
Right?
yeah.
They'd be like, screw this. I
Yeah.
can go
Can
buy
you
this.
imagine? Oh, here, Pearson Ivy.
Yeah.
Here's a needle. Go ahead and just.
Poke the popcorn out.
At what age? At what age could you actually do that?
Right. I don't know.
You'd have to.
But
be
I just
older.
remember seeing those things. I'm like, yeah, what happened?
I think it's probably just because that's kind of ugly on a tree too.
Yeah, I mean, everyone got their lights now.
Yeah.
You know.
like fancy stuff.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the trees, like everyone got a fake tree. So
Right.
a lot of the trees they come with lights already on it.
Right.
Like,
And-
you know, so
And like our animals would eat them off of the
that's
trees.
also
Probably,
true. Yeah.
Yeah, that would just cause all sorts of
That's-
problems.
Yeah.
But if that's someone's tradition, we'll throw it in there. So, so we'll have
'Cause
a
we
vote
need
up
8.
on social. We need 8.
So you guys got to come through and
So
give us
figure
some
out the-
ideas.
Like,
figure
a
out these
lot of
traditions.
traditions on there.
Yeah.
But even
Going
like
to
hot
like
cocoa and like a movie.
Yeah.
Or like taking family pictures. You know how I love my family pictures.
Yeah, me too.
We're doing
or
it this Friday,
like
so
oh, surprise. But like one thing that our family always did was, I can't remember. Actually, this might just be Thanksgiving. I can't remember. But we would have our meal or whatever, and then everybody would be sitting around bored, or we'd open presents, have our meal, everybody would be bored, so we'd go watch a Christmas movie in the evening at the theaters. We'd have, they'd have either Christmas movies running or they'd have the new movies out. So that might not be
Or
something
sending
to do
Christmas
this year.
cards out.
Oh yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway,
we'll have
we'll get more opinions from everybody. We'll get a vote on our Instagram. So go to Krave Gym Instagram, check out the story there, and get that vote. Next up, let's get into our word of the week this week. Amber's got.
Wow,
wait,
wow.
where's your phone?
Right here. You're gonna get some.
You're gonna hide it.
Yep. You don't need this. I don't need to be on film.
Multi-film.
So I think this word, we did a lot of talking over the weekend on the way to Kansas City and just saying how, people live their life as athletes and what it means to be an athlete and having confidence in saying that you are a Krave athlete. Because being a Krave athlete doesn't mean, you're just confident in your ability to come into the gym and perform. Being an athlete means that you're confident in your abilities to perform inside and outside of the gym. And so confidence is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. So firm trust. Confidence is created inside yourself by believing I can do this. So I think, especially with females, there's something that just doesn't give us the confidence like you would see maybe a male carrying himself. And I think confidence stems from, a lot of females not coming into the gym, going over to the weight room area, feeling confident in their ability to lift heavy weights. And so I think this is just a good word in general for a program and being confident in who you are as a person and not comparing yourself to the person next to you. And I know it's easier said than done, but I feel like what really stemmed for myself and gave me confidence was, growing up, I was insecure, and who I was as a person, like over the years, just kind of molded me into being a more confident person. But I think kids, like my kids have given me so much confidence in the world to know that I am capable of doing anything. But it takes a lot of work to build that confidence. And so I just think about, how much confidence my kids have given me, and just me being a mom, but then it stems into all like the professional side of my career and stuff, just carrying that confidence in, because when you do find it, you find that it carries into other parts of your life too, that maybe it was missing too. And so I don't know. What do you guys? You're gonna chime in there.
Oh, you were rolling.
Yeah, you're going there.
For me, I've always been relatively confident, whether it was merited or not, or warranted or not. Yeah, I had confidence, even if it was like blind confidence. But for me, confidence always came better with preparation. So like, if I was going into like a presentation or doing whatever, if I was not prepared for that presentation or that speech or whatever, I would not be as confident as I would have been if I had prepared and know my stuff around that, right? Same thing with like a football game, or if I was going into a game that I know I had studied all the film that I needed, I know that I had done what I needed to prepare for that game. Now, if I would have had, been too busy to watch film that week, or I didn't take that as a priority, I wouldn't have felt as prepared for that game, and I wouldn't have been as confident. And so there's a lot of things that I think preparation is kind of the prelude to confidence. So, that's just to say, put hard work into your presentation, put hard work into whatever you have, because then you can go into it more confident than if you were just winging it. We sit here and wing the gym closet a lot of times, but if we're more prepared,
be prepared all week,
right? If we're more prepared, we're more confident about what we're talking about, and it comes off that way too.
So my wow was just a bomb, because you literally told me 10 minutes ago I'm talking about the wow today.
See, and you came in at first, you weren't very confident, but then you did a little bit of research, right?
Yeah,
and you got your confidence back.
Yep.
The other thing that I want to kind of touch on too with confidence is not to mistake nervousness for the lack of confidence. So nervousness is kind of a feeling that a lot of people get when they're getting in front of a group or when they're getting on, live social media. If you get that nervousness, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have lack of confidence. Take that nervous feeling and use that energy in a productive way today. So that's kind of one of the action steps that I'd like to take is, everyone's going to get nervous. I got nervous before games. I get nervous before, speeches and talking to people. Those nerves doesn't mean that I'm not prepared. It doesn't mean that I'm not confident going in, but those nerves are just a natural part of your body when you're kind of stepping out of your box or your comfort zone. And so take those nerves and recognize that, okay, I'm nervous for doing this activity, and that's completely fine. It doesn't mean that I'm not prepared. It doesn't mean that I'm not acting, unless you aren't. Then I would say prepare. But first prepare, then recognize that you know, the nervous feeling is not necessarily a bad thing. Put it into play and take that energy and do something good with it. And that's kind of one of the action steps as far as confidence goes.
And I think we just did the coach's breakdown, and I think you were nervous,
Oh, boy,
you know,
yeah.
but
it wasn't
it's not that you
not
weren't confident, right?
Right.
But you put
No,
that
I
energy
wasn't, no.
towards it, and it turned out to be awesome. But it's just getting used to doing things. Like, I think your confidence builds as you come into the gym more. You know,
for sure,
our confidence
yeah,
builds
for
as we
sure.
get in front of a camera more and more, you know, and so you just gotta prepare, but then put it into practice too.
Yeah, that's one of the things. One of the things that I've noticed that I love about this season, because I saw it last year too, is that people now are so much more confident with, you know, when they're like squatting is a big one. I know for everyone, because it's a weird feeling to, like, when you're used to like going from like an endurance season or an agility season where we're doing, you know, 12, 15 reps of something, and we're doing, you know, lighter weight, and that bar feels like nothing on your back, to now you're going, you know, 4 to 6 reps. And all of a sudden you're standing up with that heavy weight on your back. Like, it's a different feeling, and it can be like a nerve-wracking feeling, especially if it's something you don't usually do and push that weight that much. So like from week 1 this season, people that were like maybe throwing, you know, 95 on when they're squatting, they're like, oh, this seems like a lot of weight. And now all of a sudden they're, you know, 135, 155, and they're like, you know, no issues with it at all. You know? So it's cool to see that confidence build of, you know, oh, I'm pushing the weight a little bit, you know, I'm a little bit nervous about it, maybe not confident in myself, to now I'm, you know, struggling through, you know, still having the confidence to be able to, you know, try to push that weight an extra 5-10 pounds. It's really cool, I think, to see that. So
it is. And that's just what, you know, confidence overall as an athlete. Because we got into the conversation, like, what percentage of our athletes would go to a party? Well, we could go to parties.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Or to someone's house and just
when
be,
we can socialize.
and just be confident in their, hey, I'm a Krave athlete. Like, I think a lot of people don't look at themselves like an athlete, but it's like, have that confidence, because you are a freaking athlete. We're all athletes, and we're all trying to better ourselves every day, and that's what being an athlete is about. Or when you go up to the bar, if you go up to the bar to, like, squat, not like a drinking bar, but up to the bar.
Confused.
Sorry. When you go up to squat, right? Like, look at that bar and say, I can do this. Because right away, if you say, I can't do this, I don't know, your confidence drops. And then you're not going to be able to lift that. But if
And the weight literally feels heavier.
Yes, right.
No,
So
yeah.
it's just those
You're
little
thinking
things that you
they're
can
like-
build on over and over every single day, like that positive reinforcement or positive
But
self-talk.
it's also interesting. What?
Did it shut off?
No.
Oh.
It's also interesting too, though, that it kind of goes into last week's compete and how that kind of gets a negative connotation. And the word athlete
Can get
a lot of
yeah.
times has
Oh, yeah,
a negative
yeah.
connotation, because so many people that sign up, you know, to become a Krave athlete, they start off by they look at the athlete name, or that it says athlete signature when you're signing your paperwork when you first start, and a lot of people are like,
Is that
so
me?
is that
or-
me?
Yeah.
Who's the athlete? And so, like, it starts. We have to kind of indoctrinate a lot of people into, you are an athlete, regardless of whether you can, you know, perform at the highest level, whether you are at your prime right now or not. Again, that goes back to one of our other sayings: find your prime.
Right.
You know, that is you know, the word athlete has that negative connotation. But if you have the confidence to say, I'm an athlete, then that, just saying that, it holds a real big power. And the interesting thing too is, when you say those things, when you say I'm an athlete, you are also able to do a lot more things than what you might have come in to do. Not to mention, if you train at Krave and you're speaking to the general population, so you're at the bar or you're at, you know, a party and you're talking to people, and you say that I'm an athlete, 90% of the people you talk to would not be able to do the things that you are doing on a daily basis day one. Now, they could work their way into it, but they're an athlete in their own mind. They just don't know it. And you probably could outperform them, at least right away. You could outperform them if you're training at Krave.
And that's confidence.
So you're a Krave athlete. You have that confidence. And so that's the other thing and kind of the other angle with confidence too is that I love to see with Krave is the team element and how someone else's confidence in themselves can translate to a new athlete feeling confident that I can do this too. Or the team says that I can see that, you know, she's doing her best and he's his best. I'm confident that I can do my best.
Right.
And so that's another big part of the team aspect at Krave that athletic team can actually instill in you is that confidence as
and
well.
I think some people want to put like a pedestal, like you think athlete, you think everyone's up here, right? But we're all good at our own things that we were made for. And so I think if you think about a football team or a baseball team, like not everybody was good at hitting, but you had people that were good at running.
And
You know,
pitching.
you had people that were good at
Right, yeah.
pitching. Like we're all good in our own element, and it's just get off of that. Oh well, I have to be a 5-star athlete to be considered a Krave athlete. You don't. You have to show up as your best self every day and work as your best self in the gym and find your prime every single day of the person that you want to become and be. You know, that's what being an athlete is about. So
Awesome. Speaking of athletes, let's do some athlete shout-outs.
yeah. All right, you want me to start this week?
Go for it.
Okay, so I have to give a shout out to John Smith. So John Smith came into Krave Gym Waukee about, maybe 5 months ago. He was a Planet Fitness guy, and he's like, I'm just showing up. The lunk alarm goes on. No, I'm just kidding. They have pizza in there every week. I mean, no. He just said, you know, I'm going to the gym. I'm doing the same things. Just go in, lift chest, and then I'm leaving. So he's like, I want to join. I've never done team stuff or the group stuff, but I'm interested in it. And you have people that come in that don't think that they need the group stuff. You know, they're like, no, that's not for me. But then they try it and they're like, wow, I pushed myself that much harder. So he was one of those ones that came from Planet Fitness, has jumped in since day one, was sore, pushed himself a lot. You know, he did have an injury with his lower back, but went and took care of that. Still was able to perform in the gym, but it was just tightness in his back and stuff. So went and saw our physical therapist, Sam, who's our team physical therapist, got him back. Now his squat is amazing. Like the way he's just transformed over the last 4 months is incredible, and he's losing weight, loving what he's doing, good attitude, super fun guy to be around.
Confidence too.
Confidence.
Oh, for
He's
sure,
yeah.
very much.
Because he came in and just watching that confidence build up over the last 4 months has just been so fun. Now we had a prospect come in last week, and John like partnered up with him and like kind of helped him through the
Yeah,
session.
it was cool to see. Yeah,
Like
it
it's
was really
such a cool thing to see that.
Oh yeah.
And so then I'm like, whenever he's dying, I'm like, just make jokes about Planet Fitness. These aren't no Planet Fitness workouts, are they, John? And
He's
he
the
just
laugh at
laughs.
Starbucks every day.
Yeah, the Starbucks. So keep it up, John. You're kicking butt.
Good job, John. My athlete shout out is Bobby Joe Rankle. I don't even know where to start with Bobby Joe.
I don't
honestly.
know either. She's been
the
here
best.
for a while.
She's
She's
been here
awesome.
forever. She's
She's
been
awesome.
here since way longer than I have.
Yeah.
Way more than I do. So Bobby Joe is one of my nutrition clients. She, like I said, she's been here, like I said, longer than I have. So I mean, she just has such an awesome attitude.
Mhm.
Like
100%.
every time I come in here and see her, she's like, no matter what's going on, no matter, you know, in her life, I'm sure she got stuff going on.
Yep.
Um,
Would never know.
oh yeah, no, she's one of those people that she's always in
But-
here. She's training hard,
Yep.
and she's so willing to, you know, whatever, you know, we ask of her, she's so willing to do. Like I remember I went up to her, and so I had, you know, Denise is one of her friends, good friends obviously, and you know, she started doing nutrition with me, and you know, she's like, hey, we need to get Bobby Joe going on this too. So I went up to her just kind of joking one night, and she's like, hey, when are we gonna start up with nutrition? She's like, well, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, and by the way too, like I'm coming in on my 3 off days too, besides my team training sessions, and I want to, you know, make sure I'm optimizing that. What do I do for that? So I made up we made a program for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so she's really just been taking a lot of steps recently now to go above and beyond that. You know, she's always hitting her 3 team training sessions. She's always in here on her off days, lifting on her own. You know, she was tracking before, but didn't necessarily have the goals in mind of, you know, what exact macros do I need to be hitting. You know, so over the last month or so, month and a half, she's kind of taking those next steps to going from, you know, hitting the training sessions, coming in on her own and on her off days, tracking on her own, to now getting, you know, very specific goals in mind of, okay, here's exactly what I need to have planned out on my off days. Here's exactly the macros I need to be eating, you know, and so she's really taking those next steps to, you know, take that next step, you know, in fitness and in life And like I said, all along, she just has the best attitude the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, we'll come in here and we'll have our half-hour, you know, nutrition meetings, and we probably talk about nutrition for 5 minutes. You know,
Or
go
she's
to
always
25.
laughing.
Yeah, we just
Talking
joke
about that
around.
grandpup now? Doesn't
Yeah,
she have a grandpup?
Yeah, and she's actually going to move in like 2 buildings away from us. So
Oh,
I'm excited for
nice.
some puppy play dates.
Okay,
I hope.
awesome.
But, yeah.
Awesome.
So
Yeah,
keep
no,
it up, Bobby
she's-
Joe.
She's
Keep
great.
smiling.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a teammate that just is always
Oh, yeah.
has a good attitude. And that's
Yep.
definitely her. We do have the comments up before I give my
Those are all from
shout-outs.
today?
Those are just from today.
Holy
Dang.
cow.
Robbie Feldman,
Let's go.
old high school buddy of mine. Kristen, and she said she hasn't puked in years.
You're
Cross the
lucky.
U's.
She's lucky she doesn't
Don't
have
rub
morning
it in.
sickness.
Yeah.
Don't rub it in. You're having a boy then.
And Kristen has the top fan status. Nice.
Wow,
Oh, could
Kristen.
have called that woman.
I would have known that, yeah.
Real MVP right there.
Yeah, Kristen
Right.
would.
So my athlete shout outs for this week, it's kind of it's kind of a couple people, but then I thought of another one. So
Okay.
I thought we were going to do one.
nope, we have multiple
my
now.
impression.
No, I have multiple.
You're trying to schmooze
So I
people in
clumped them.
before
Yeah.
this,
I clumped them in.
championship
Exactly, because Western One's got to win this championship. We got to all show up. But I clumped them in as the 5 a.m. crew. That was my first initial one.
That was.
So the 5 a.m. crew, like normally before COVID happened, obviously, our 5 a.m. session was one of our busiest sessions. And since then, I think most people have, a lot of people have worked from home and might not be,
6
that's not.
a.m. or noon now.
They don't have to come in. They've been able to come in at a more convenient time than 5 a.m. But we still have like a handful of athletes, John, Allison, Ben, Molly, and Jasmine, that are pretty much just staple for that 5 a.m.
Exactly.
session. And so huge shout out to them for continuously being consistent with their 5 a.m. and continuing to get up at 5 a.m. and rock and roll.
Especially in the winter.
Yeah,
I
in the
find
winter
that
is even
gets
tough.
so hard
And
back.
so keep up the grind. I know that 5 a.m. is early, but if that's the only time you can get it in, huge shout out to them for being able to get it in and work as hard as
And
they
just, can I make it, sorry,
Yeah.
can I interrupt you? The 5 a.m. always, like, makes me laugh because you think those people are going to be the tired ones. Like, they don't have hardly any energy. Like,
Yeah.
they're just,
do. Right.
they freaking grind. Like, even just from coaching, like, 4:30, 5:30 p.m. There's just something about that energy at 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah,
That's
it's
like, it starts your day off in a good way. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so huge shout out to you guys. And then I forgot, but I had a conversation with Denise Kincaid that she's doing nutrition with Zach. But I had a conversation with her yesterday so we were talking about the strength and the confidence in your lifts and stuff like that. So she brought up her strength sheet yesterday, and it went, every single lift skyrocketed from day one of this season because she's kept track of every single week. And so you can see this perfect progression of being able to add weight, being able to add weight, being able to add weight. And all of a sudden now we're at, week 7 and she's 30 pounds up on some things.
That's
She's
awesome.
40, 50 pounds up on some things. And so huge shout out to Denise. Keep killing it. She's able to, she comes in and she does the program 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
She's able to rock and roll. She's strong as hell. She was she was a gymnast back in the day,
Yeah.
and she could probably still do all the gymnastic stuff around the gym with pull-ups and stuff. But no, she's killing it, and she showed me her lifting sheet the other day, and
That's awesome.
she's been increasing everything. So
Use those lifting sheets.
hell yeah, it's a great tool to be able to see.
Yeah.
Because and she was just saying how excited she was, and that's one thing that you don't get that excitement or that satisfaction if you don't see your progress.
Yeah.
And be able to see those written down numbers means a ton, because you can, even if you did increase those numbers but you didn't have them written down, you might be pushing yourself just as hard, but you don't get the satisfaction of looking back and saying, oh shit, I was only doing 100 pounds and now I'm doing 150 pounds on something. So that's a great tool to be using. Make sure we're always using that. And getting back into kind of our program stuff, let's talk about the championship. So this is the last thing that we'll go over today. But our championship is going to look a little bit different this season. Starting on the 28th through the 2nd, we have our championship for this season. So normally our championship is a single event on the last Saturday of the season. where we get together and we compete both individually and as teams. So West Des Moines versus Waukee right now, you would have individual events, and those individual events are scored and get your team points, as well as team events that get your team points. So we're not able to do a big event like that right now. So just because of the situation we're in with COVID, we normally have anywhere from 30 to 50 people at those. So that's too many for us to have that special event right now. So what we're going to be doing, we're still going to compete, we're still going to get those numbers, but we're going to do it kind of a digital version right now. So we have basically two options for everybody. You can do one of two things to submit your event qualifications. Yeah. So you have the option. If you come, so the events are bench, squat, and dead this season. So those are our sub maxes. Yep. So we want to aim for anywhere from 3 to 5 reps. We can calculate your max from a sub max all the way up to 10 reps still accurately. So if you get more than 10 reps, go up in weight. We don't want to go do more than 10 reps, but 3 to 5 reps is going to be your optimal number that we want to get to elevate your weight as heavy as possible, but then also making sure that we keep in play the injury prevention as well. So we have bench, dead, and squat as our 3 events. So if you come in on squat day and in the program we're squatting, you can submax that day on the last week in front of your coach, and that will count as a submission for your individual events and your team events. Now, if you do not, if it's a bench day and you've already benched, you've already submitted, you cannot do a squat on a bench day. So don't ask to do a different lift.
But you can redo your squat, or you can redo your bench if you think you're going to be better this second time. So say the day before you did it and you just had an off day and you came in on your own, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But we haven't done that yet. Okay. So the second way that you can submit, which she is going into, is a video. So if you have basically, so say you come in on a Monday, you want to get your bench squat or your bench max, sub max, go ahead and videotape yourself doing that.
That's for all you virtual people too.
Yes, and if you're doing it at home, whatever the case might be, submit that to Facebook. Let's see if we have any more comments as we're talking through this. Nope. Submit that to Krave Gym Facebook Messenger, and we will take that video as a submission for your team and individual events. So the way that it's working, we have 3 different events for individual and 3 different events for team. So your bench, squat, and your dead are each an individual event. So we will have a top 10, male and female, for our each one of those. And then we will have a top 5 accumulative team weight for each team. That added together in each one of those events will be the team competing back and forth. So the points that we will be scoring will be 1 through 10. If you get first place, you had the best bench out of every guy at West Des Moines and Waukee. That means you get 10 points for your team and yourself individually. Then same thing for second place, you get 9 and so forth all the way down through 10. Then same thing with each event. So that was bench. Then you have that same thing with squat. Then we tally those points up and give it to your team. Then with those top 5 with those top 5 weights lifted, we will be adding those up, and each event, if Waukee top 5 beats West Des Moines top 5 in weight, then you will get 10 points for your team as a whole through those events. So the team events are worth 30 points. So if you win every single team event, then you get 30 points for your team.
So all you guys need to do, we got all the scoring, we'll do all that. All you guys got to do is show up and that whole week and lift the heavy amount of weight and write it down in the gym or send it to us via video. And then we will be doing like a scoreboard throughout the week of kind of where people are at. So that way you guys can see a live view of who's lifting where. And then here's the thing is maybe 10 people from West Des Moines don't participate. Okay. But 10 people from Waukee do. And those bottom 3 or 4, they're not real heavy lifters, but they're still getting us points.
Right.
So you might not think
you're
the strongest, but you can still help your team out.
You could be the 5th strongest.
It depends on how many people show up for it, you know.
But or for the team event, you could be the 5th strongest. So your 100 pounds could maybe everyone else is doing 200 pounds, but you're the 5th strongest at 100. That 100 pounds could be the 100 pounds that wins it for your team.
Yeah. So
we need everybody to submit your strength and get that in, because we will be doing all the calculations. We'll be doing get those maxes and put those places in place so that everybody can see where they're at. And we'll continue to build that out live as we go so that we can continue to compete. The trophies right now are over at Waukee. And so we need to bring the trophies back over to West Des Moines, because I'm sick of going over there and seeing them on top of the lockers. They need to come over.
Perfect.
We have a perfect spot for them over here at West Des Moines. So our West Des Moines athletes need to lift that weight, bring those trophies
The thing
back.
about that is that even if someone from West Des Moines is like the heaviest female lifter over here, the trophies go with the team points overall.
Yes.
So they go, you might be West Des Moines athlete over, at Waukee on the trophies, but they go with the team. So whatever team scores the best.
Those are team trophies. Team traveling trophies.
So, but show up. It should be a lot of fun. And we are going to be really strict on form, because especially if you're lifting at home or you come in to lift on your own, you have to take a video. You can't just say, oh, I did this for 3 reps. On that bench press, we need to make sure that bar's touching that chest. On that squat, we have to get parallel 90 degrees on that squat. On that deadlift, that weight's touching the ground. So we're just going to say it now. If you guys are not doing it correctly, we're going to call you out, just to keep it as fair as possible.
Definitely. And so obviously the videos that we get submitted have to be perfect form. We have that video evidence. But if you're in person, we're going to be really strict. The coaches are going to be really strict with that form, because you have to match up. The in-person ones have to be held to the same quality standards as the form standards as the video submissions. So we're going to make sure that if you don't get all the way down, and depending if we're there, maybe we'll videotape some too.
Right. Because sometimes you feel like you're getting low enough, but you got to see it So we might, we could.
That'd probably be a good idea too.
But it should be a lot of
awesome
fun.
Week. It's the week of the 28th, so it's the last week. The last Monday of December starts the championship week. So we'll get rolling.
So if you show up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have a bench, squat, deadlift. You can get all of them, and then if you can't come on those days, you can go in, film yourself, submit it. Or if you want to come in on Monday and we bench, but you had a shitty bench day, you can come in back on that Tuesday and try it again. Just make sure you film it and submit it. So you can do bench 5 times that week to try to find your best. But I'm not going to give you any more strategies. That probably won't
Kristen
be
says
very good.
CrossFit style scoring. I see. I would say more strongman style scoring.
Kristen.
Strongman style
Strongman.
scoring on that. All right, awesome. Anything else that we have to cover today, Ian?
I don't think so. Give us your feedback on the craving this week and your favorite holiday activity.
Yes. Stay in touch through the social media. If you have not jumped on our social media, make sure you go to Instagram, follow us on there. Go to our YouTube. If you want to rewatch this, we have it up on our YouTube as well. So subscribe to our YouTube. And if you are listening to this audio, go to however you listen to podcasts. We're up on all of them. It's the Gym Closet Podcast. And rate, review, and subscribe to those so that we can get this into more athletes' hands.
Woo-hoo.
And remember, you're an athlete. Live like it.
Thanks, guys.